Thanks, Ron. Those opening comments were great. It's so nice to see everyone this morning, and it's so great because it's not raining in Chicago. So it's just great to be able to look outside and enjoy the weather. It's so great to see everyone here. So as Ron said, Rashawn Ray, Vice President and Executive Director of the AIR Equity Initiative at the American Institutes for Research. AIR is a research organization. And part of what I do at AIR is I help to lead our equity initiative, which is an over $100 million investment to address systemic inequalities in local neighborhoods. And policing, public safety and justice is one of the largest parts of our portfolio. We also focus on education equity, workforce development, and health outcomes. As it relates to policing, public safety, and justice, you all were here this afternoon, as Ron said, from some of our grantees who are just doing some amazing work. Some of you all in here probably already work with them, interact with them. After you meet them, if you haven't already, you'll probably want to work with them and see all the work that they're doing in local communities. So we think that that's great. One of the big things that we look for with the Equity Initiative are areas that we consider to be community ready, areas that are actually doing the work. And I just want to applaud everyone here for being here because it's easy to opt out, right? It's easy not to be in spaces like this. And as a person who comes from a law enforcement and military family, I can tell you that you all's job is extremely, extremely difficult. I think probably the most difficult job that is in the United States of America, and I would argue in many places around the world. My grandfather served two terms in the military in terms of going to Korea, going to Vietnam, Purple Heart, Bronze Star, Presidential Commendation. My mom got into West Point in the 1970s as a black woman. That is part of my legacy. What they say when family gets together is, oh yeah, we do military, we do policing, we do nursing, and oh yeah, Rashawn, he's still in school. And that's always been a running joke. I guess they don't say that anymore after I finished my PhD, but they said it for a long time. I just want to give some kudos to Benchmark. I think this is great to be able to bring people together. And of course, it would have been great to be able to do this a couple years ago, but we were, of course, dealing with the pandemic. And so being able to get out and have people interact, to meet people, to share resources, to share networks, to share what's going on, I think is what it's all about. And this is part of the reason why AR has made a deep investment in Benchmark. We believe in the work that Benchmark is doing. We believe in First Sign, we believe in the staff, and more importantly, we believe in the collaboration that's being built. No one is doing what we're doing. I want to be clear about this. And on one of my other hats as a professor at the University of Maryland, where I've done research on policing and with police officers for over a decade, I know emphatically nobody's doing this. And so it's important to note that when you're doing new things, oftentimes you're doing innovative things. And what that means is that not only are you taking risk in terms of this space, but you have to have people who are willing to take a chance and be bold. And I think everyone in here is doing that. I also want to note that part of what everyone wants here is safer streets. We want safer streets not only in terms of dealing with crime, but we also want to aim to ensure that use of force is corralled in a way, because we know by the work of Benchmark and others that oftentimes use of force is concentrated among a smaller percentage of officers. And the other thing I know is that police chiefs are oftentimes corralled on what they can actually do to deal with those problematic officers. And I think part of what Benchmark is doing is not only setting up a system that allows for you all to track that, but what they are also doing is helping you all to set up a system on how to address that on the back end. That's some of the things that AIR is able to help with in terms of our technical assistance, in terms of some of the research that we do, and in terms of helping Benchmark to do a lot of that work. Finally, again, I just want to thank you all for participating, because you all are here because you believe in Benchmark and you want to be better. And not just you all, but to lead by example. Part of what we know about policing data is pretty much most of the data we get is deficit oriented, meaning it's negative in nature. What people don't see are all the times where officers go out and do things like help someone, which is literally every day, all day, because nobody's tracking that, right? And even in police departments, that's what you see. You see people putting up how many arrests have people got, how many things have people done, instead of it being more asset-based about how people are actually engaging in community policing in the way that we know that it needs to be set up. Part of this conversation, and what we hope will come out of this as well, is to continuously hear about the assets, what's actually working to be able to hold up what is happening, and then be able to share that information as models for what's going on. So what this means primarily is collecting data. And when we collect data, we collect it in a meaningful way. Because one thing I know as a researcher is that we can't rule out certain variables unless we actually collect those data. And then that allows us to actually hold up what we know is actually working and remove what's not. There are a lot of theories out there. But one of the issues is that a lot of the data we have is not really good outside of places like Benchmark. And that's the reason why as Benchmark grows, ARR is just excited to continue to partner. You all will hear from our grantees, and I look forward to meeting and hearing from all of you. Thank you.